In the blinding flash of 1,000 cameras, Taylor Swift lived a life watched by the world. Every smile, every tear, every lyric was dissected, a public performance where her heart was the main stage. She was a superstar, a global icon, but behind the curtain of fame, she was just a woman longing for something real, something quiet. She craved a love that didn't need a hashtag, a connection that wasn't measured in likes. A love that saw her, not the celebrity she had become. One rainy Tuesday, tucked away in a sterile television studio, she found it. Her latest album was breaking records, and another interview was on the schedule. She expected the same questions, the same superficial praise. But then she met Evan Cole. He wasn't a celebrity journalist or a gossip columnist. He was an evening news anchor, a man whose voice carried the weight of real-world stories, whose eyes held a calm, steady depth that seemed entirely out of place in the circus of her life. The interview began, but it wasn't an interview. It was a conversation. Evan didn't ask about her exes or the hidden meanings in her songs. He asked about the girl who wrote poems in her bedroom, about the fears that kept her awake at night, about the joy she found in a simple melody. He listened, really listened. For the first time in years, Taylor felt heard, not just observed. The studio lights faded away, the cameras disappeared. In that small, quiet space, it was just the two of them, two souls connecting beyond the noise. After the cameras stopped rolling, they kept talking. They talked about books, about the feeling of home, about the pressure to be perfect. Evan spoke of his own life, a life of deadlines and tragedies, yet he carried it with a grace that fascinated her. He was grounded, a steady oak in the hurricane of her existence. He didn't want a photo with her. He wanted to hear her thoughts. He wasn't stopped. He was intrigued. That night, Taylor went home and wrote, not a song for the charts, but a poem just for herself. It was about a man with kind eyes and a voice that felt like coming home. Their connection grew in secret. Late-night phone calls that lasted until dawn, quiet dinners in small, out-of-the-way restaurants where no one would recognize her. With Evan, she wasn't Taylor Swift the brand. She was just Taylor. She could be vulnerable, messy, and unsure. She could laugh without it being a headline, and cry without it becoming a think piece. Evan provided a sanctuary, a quiet harbor where her soul could rest. He loved the parts of her that had nothing to do with fame, her love for cats, her clumsy way of baking, her philosophical ramblings about the stars. He showed her a different kind of life, a life where happiness wasn't a red carpet event, but a walk in the park on a crisp autumn day, their hands intertwined, a life where love wasn't a dramatic ballad, but a quiet, consistent hum in the background of their days. He never asked her to tone down her ambition, but he celebrated her moments of peace. He understood the duality of her existence, the global superstar and the woman who just wanted to be loved for who she was. But a secret like theirs couldn't stay hidden forever. A blurry photograph, a whispered rumor, and soon the world knew. The narrative was immediate and relentless. Taylor Swift's new man. The quiet sanctuary they had built was suddenly under siege. Paparazzi camped outside Evan's apartment. His past was excavated, his character scrutinized. The world wanted to own their story, to turn their private love into public entertainment. Fear crept in, cold and familiar. Taylor had seen this happen before. She had seen how the glare of the public eye could warp and destroy the most beautiful things. She saw the strain on Evan's face. A man unaccustomed to this level of invasive scrutiny. Was it fair to pull him into her world, to subject him to this chaos? The old instinct to retreat, to build walls around her heart, screamed at her. Maybe a love this quiet wasn't meant for a life this loud. One evening, sitting in her apartment with the curtains drawn, the city lights twinkling below, she broke down. She told Evan she couldn't do it, couldn't watch the world tear him apart, couldn't see their beautiful, private connection become another chapter in her public drama. She was ready to let him go, to protect him from her fame. Evan listened, his calm presence a balm to her frantic heart. When she finished, he took her hands in his. He looked her in the eyes and said, "Taylor, I didn't fall in love with Taylor Swift, the superstar. I fell in love with you. The you who tells terrible jokes and leaves tea bags on the counter. The you who worries about her friends and writes poetry about the moon. Your world is loud, I know, but our world, the one we built right here, is quiet. And that's the only one that matters to me. I'm not afraid of the noise, as long as I have you to come home to." In that moment, everything shifted. His words weren't a grand romantic declaration from a movie script. They were real, steady, and true. He wasn't choosing the fame, he was choosing her. He wasn't interested in the spectacle. He was committed to the person. For so long, her relationships had been defined by the public's perception of them. She realized that true love wasn't about finding someone who could withstand the storm of her life. But Evan was teaching her a new way to love, not in defiance of the world, but in spite of it. It was about finding someone who could be the calm in the center of it. It wasn't about hiding from the world, but about creating a private world so strong and so real that the outside noise could untouch it. They didn't run. They didn't hide. They just lived. They continued their quiet walks, their late-night talks, their simple, ordinary life together. The cameras were still there, the headlines still blared, but they became background noise, the static of a world they didn't belong to. Their love story wasn't written in tabloid ink. It was written in the quiet moments, shared smile over coffee, a comforting hand on her back, the peaceful silence of two people who were simply happy to be together. Taylor Swift, the woman who had written countless songs about love, was finally living the one she had always dreamed of. It wasn't a fairy tale romance or a dramatic epic. It was something far more rare and far more beautiful. It was a quiet love, a true love, found not under the spotlight, but in the steady, gentle presence of a man who simply saw her and chose her for exactly who she was. And in his eyes, she was finally home. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the quiet corners of love and life.